Another woman was halfway down the aisle in my wedding dress when I entered the ballroom, and my groom was nowhere to be found. I stood beneath the gold-framed doorway of the Asare Grand Hotel, wearing a cream bridal robe, satin slippers, and the expression of a woman whose entire life had become a public performance without her permission. 200 guests turned towards me while the string quartet continued playing, apparently unsure whether the bride entering from the front or the bride walking from the back was the official one. The woman approaching the flower-covered stage was Serwaa, Kofi's former university girlfriend. She wore the emerald and gold reception gown that had vanished from my bridal suite less than an hour earlier, and she carried my bouquet as though somebody had rehearsed every step with her. Walking proudly beside her was my future mother-in-law, Mrs. Asare. My 6-year-old flower girl, Ajoa, pointed towards Serwaa and asked in a voice that traveled across the ballroom, "Auntie Abena, why is another auntie wearing your clothes?" A nervous wave of laughter passed through the guests. My best friend Na stood beside me in a torn bridesmaid dress, holding one shoe in her hand. Somewhere between the bridal suite and the bakery van that rescued us, she had also lost one false eyelash. She leaned towards me. "Please tell me you have a plan." "I do not." "Then create one quickly. I cannot fight anybody with half a face." The quartet finally stopped. Serwaa turned around, and the confidence she had carried down the aisle disappeared when she saw me. Mrs. Asare tightened her grip on Serwaa's arm. "Continue walking." Serwaa took one uncertain step before stopping completely. I entered the ballroom. "Kofi said the wedding was cancelled," Serwaa said. "Did Kofi tell you that himself?" Mrs. Asare answered before she could. "This is not the place for one of your scenes, Abena." I looked down at my bridal robe. "My wedding car was cancelled, my telephone disappeared, and another woman is wearing my dress. I believe the scene began without me." Several guests tried to hide smiles. At the front of the ballroom, Kofi's 81-year-old grandmother, Nana Ya, rose slowly from her chair. She wore deep purple kente and held a carved walking stick that she rarely needed but regularly used to emphasize her opinions. "Where is my grandson?" she asked. Nobody answered. My brother Kwame hurried towards us from the side entrance. "The groom's suite is empty. His suit is still there, but his car is gone." A whisper moved through the ballroom. Mrs. Asare lifted her chin. "Kofi received a message from Abena this morning. She told him she could not marry him. He left before she could humiliate this family in front of everyone." "I sent no message." "You disappeared." "I was waiting for the wedding car your hotel was supposed to provide." Na raised her remaining shoe. "The driver never arrived. We called until the dispatch office told us the booking had been cancelled by the hotel." Mrs. Asare's expression remained composed, but one hand tightened around her handbag. Serwaa looked between us. "Your mother said you had ended the engagement weeks ago. She said Kofi wanted me to come because he had reconsidered our relationship." My chest tightened. "And you believed her?" Serwaa glanced towards the empty stage. "I wanted to." At that moment, Aunt Mansa pushed through the guests with her telephone held above her head. "I am recording evidence," she announced. Nana Ya studied the screen. "You have been live streaming your own forehead." Aunt Mansa lowered the telephone. "How do I turn the camera?" "For the sake of the internet," Nana Ya replied, "give it to somebody under 60. Laughter broke through the tension. Even I smiled, although my hands were shaking. Kofi and I had met 4 years earlier at a charity dinner in Accra. I produced a current affairs program for a national radio station, and he managed operations at the hotel his late father had founded. He had accidentally sat at my table beneath a place card bearing another man's name. "You know you are in the wrong seat," I said after 20 minutes. "Yes." "Why are you still here?" "You were telling a story, and I wanted to hear the ending." That was Kofi. He listened carefully, laughed easily, and never appeared threatened by my work or independence. His mother had been less impressed. She belonged to the kind of social circle where family names were treated like currencies, and she had expected Kofi to marry someone whose parents owned companies, rather than a woman whose mother had been a nurse and whose father had taught mathematics in Cape Coast. Mrs. Asare rarely insulted me directly. She preferred compliments sharpened at the edges. "You are remarkably confident for someone in radio. That color is surprisingly flattering on you." Kofi has always admired independent women. I only hope he remembers that independence can make marriage difficult. For years, Kofi had asked me to ignore her. "She will adjust," he always said. What I had not understood was that every time he avoided confronting her, he quietly made her behavior my burden. 3 weeks before the wedding, Serwaa had returned to Ghana after working in London. Her father, Mr. Mensah, owned several logistics companies and had helped finance the hotel during its early years. Mrs. Asare invited Serwaa to what she described as a business dinner. Kofi and I arrived to find her wearing white. Na later declared that any former girlfriend who wore white to a pre-wedding dinner should be searched for hidden intentions. Serwaa had looked genuinely uncomfortable. She explained that Mrs. Asare had not told her the evening was connected to our wedding. During dessert, Mrs. Asare raised a glass. "To old relationships," she said, looking at Serwaa, "and to doors that should never have been closed." Kofi put down his spoon. "Mom, stop. I was speaking generally." Nana Ya shook her head. "You have never spoken generally in your life." That ended the toast, but not the feeling that something had shifted. The hotel had been struggling for months. A renovation project had exceeded its budget, corporate bookings had fallen, and the bank had refused to extend an existing loan. Kofi tried to protect his mother from the full details while carrying the pressure himself. He promised the financial problems would not affect our marriage. "We may have fewer flowers," he joked, "but I will still be there." Yet as I stood in the ballroom watching Serwaa hold my bouquet, I wondered whether the hotel's problems had reached further into our wedding than either of us realized. A young hotel employee hurried towards me carrying a beaded handbag. "Madam Abena, we found this behind the flower boxes near the service lift." It was mine. My telephone was inside, its screen cracked but still working. There were 17 missed calls from Kofi and one message sent at 11:38. "I cannot believe you chose today to tell me. I am coming to your apartment. We need to speak face to face." Above it was another message, apparently sent from my telephone at 11:21. "I cannot marry you. I should have told you sooner. Please do not come looking for me." My stomach turned. I did not write this. Na read over my shoulder. That message was sent while we were both in the makeup room. Mrs. Asare looked towards the stage. Nanaya noticed. She noticed everything. "Who knew your passcode?" she asked. "Kofi, Na, and my mother." Mrs. Asare had also seen me enter it during the rehearsal dinner, but I did not say that yet. The discovery changed the entire room. Kofi had not disappeared to marry Serwaa. He believed I had abandoned him and had gone to find me. If you enjoy stories where family secrets create unexpected consequences, subscribe to Secrets Beneath the Baobab. Aunt Mansa tried calling him, but his telephone went directly to voicemail. Nanaya took her phone. "You are pressing the video icon. They keep changing these things." "They have not changed calling since yesterday." On the third attempt, Kofi answered. "Auntie Mansa, where are you? There are 2 brides, 1 wedding dress, no groom, and 300 hungry people." "There are 200 guests," Mrs. Asare corrected automatically. "This is not the time to defend the guest list," Aunt Mansa replied. "I am at Abena's apartment," Kofi said. "She is not here." "I am at the hotel," I said. There was a pause. "Abena?" "Yes." "You did not send that message?" "No." "Then why is Serwaa wearing your dress?" Every face turned towards her. Serwaa removed the veil from her hair. "Your mother called me this morning. She said Abena had admitted that she did not want the marriage. She said you had reconsidered what happened between us." "I agreed to nothing." Mrs. Asare stepped forward. "Kofi, come back. We will discuss this privately." Did you tell Serwaa I wanted to marry her? I told her we needed to protect the family from disgrace. By replacing my bride? The hotel is collapsing, she snapped. Her voice carried across the ballroom. For the first time that day, the financial crisis was no longer a rumor whispered between relatives. Mrs. Asare lowered her voice, but it was too late. Before Kofi could respond, Serwaa's father entered through the side door. Mr. Mensah was tall, silver-haired, and still wearing the suit he used for business meetings. He took in the ballroom, his daughter's dress, and the empty stage. "Serwaa," he said slowly, "what have you done?" She stared at him. "What have I done? Mrs. Asare told me Kofi's wedding had ended." Mr. Mensah turned towards my mother-in-law. "You said the relationship had broken down weeks ago." Kofi's voice came through the telephone. "What exactly did my mother tell you?" Mr. Mensah looked uncomfortable. He had offered to invest in the hotel, but only if an independent financial review showed that it could survive. Mrs. Asare had suggested that the relationship between their families might become more permanent if Kofi and Serwaa reunited. "I believed both of them were interested," he said. Serwaa's face hardened. "I have not spoken privately to Kofi in 6 years." "You expressed regret when the relationship ended." "I was 22. Mrs. Asare looked at Mr. Mensah. "The hotel employs 87 people. Your investment could preserve their livelihoods." "My investment was never conditional on my daughter's marriage." "You said a family partnership would create stability." "In business, I did not authorize you to stage a replacement wedding." Nana Ya tapped her walking stick against the floor. "When people mix marriage with bank accounts, somebody always ends up wearing the wrong dress." A few guests laughed. Kofi spoke again. "I am returning to the hotel. Nobody leaves until I arrive." Serwaa folded her arms. "I am definitely changing first." The call ended. The caterers began bringing food into the ballroom because nobody had told them to stop. The smell of jollof rice, grilled chicken, and fried plantain filled a room containing 2 brides, no ceremony, and several hundred people pretending not to listen. Nana Ya looked around. "The truth may be delayed," she announced, "but lunch should not be." That was how my wedding reception began before my wedding. Guests formed a buffet queue, while Sarah and I went upstairs with Na. The seamstress helped Sarah out of my reception gown and placed it carefully across the bed. My ceremony dress was still locked in Na's car because she had never trusted the hotel's bridal storage room. "At last," she said, "my suspicion has produced something useful." She repaired her torn bridesmaid dress with safety pins and silver tape provided by the cake decorator. Serwaa sat near the window in the blue dress she had arrived in. "I should have called you," she said. "Yes." I was embarrassed and angry. "Your mother-in-law told me Kofi had finally admitted he chose the wrong woman." "And you wanted to believe her?" She nodded. "I spent years pretending it did not hurt when he chose you. When she called this morning, part of me thought life was returning something I had lost." "You still wore my dress." "I know," and walked towards my stage. "I have no respectable explanation for that part." Na entered carrying 3 plates. "I have brought food because apologies sound more convincing after carbohydrates." Serwaa laughed unexpectedly. I tried not to, but the entire day had become too absurd for one emotion. We sat together eating jollof rice while my wedding guests discussed us downstairs. "I did not know about the hotel arrangement," Serwaa said. "My father told me he was reviewing an investment. Mrs. Asare said Kofi had asked for me." "Did you not wonder why he never called?" I told myself he was ashamed. "Or convenient?" Her eyes filled. "Both." I was still angry, but I could see that Mrs. Asare had used Serwaa's old feelings just as effectively as she had used Kofi's loyalty and my patience. Kofi arrived 20 minutes later. He entered the private room, saw me in my ceremony dress, and stopped. For a moment, I saw everything we had almost lost. Then he crossed the room and held me. The tears I had controlled all morning finally came. I cried for the cancelled car, the stolen telephone, the dress, the humiliation, and the terror of believing he had abandoned me. "I thought you had left," I said. "I thought you had ended us with a message. You should have called Na, Kwame, or my mother." "I know." "You should have questioned it." "I know." He did not defend himself. That mattered, but it did not erase the hurt. Serwaa rose. "I will give you privacy." Kofi turned towards her. "Did my mother tell you I wanted this?" "Yes." "I am sorry she involved you." Serwaa looked at me. "I allowed myself to be involved." She left with Na. Kofi sat across from me. "I went to your apartment because I could not accept that you would end everything through a message," he said. "But I still believed the message enough to leave the hotel. You believed the worst of me for nearly an hour. I was shocked. So was I when I found another woman walking towards my stage." He lowered his head. "I have spent years asking you to understand my mother because confronting her felt like choosing between you. I told myself I was keeping peace. You were not keeping peace. You were transferring the conflict to me. I understand that now." "Do you? Because love is not enough if I must constantly defend our relationship alone." His eyes filled. "I love you, Abena. I love you too, but today has shown me that love without boundaries can be manipulated." He reached for my hand and stopped before touching it. "What do you need from me?" "Truth, accountability, and a husband who will not ask me to become smaller so his mother can remain comfortable." He nodded. "Then I will become that man, even if it takes work. Words are easy today. Then judge me by what I do next." We returned downstairs together. Mrs. Asare waited near the stage. She looked relieved when she saw Kofi, but he did not go to her immediately. The hotel security manager approached us carrying a tablet. The employee who had found my handbag stood beside him, along with Mrs. Asare's personal assistant, Lydia. "We reviewed the corridor footage," the manager said. "The recording showed Lydia entering the bridal suite after the stylist left temporarily. She carried my handbag towards the service lift and returned without it 12 minutes later." Lydia began crying. "Mrs. Asare told me to bring her the telephone," she said. "She said Madam Abena had asked for it." Every guest close enough to hear turned towards my mother-in-law. Mrs. Asare's face drained of color. Kofi spoke quietly. "Did you send the message?" She looked around at the guests, Serwaa, Mr. Mensah, and finally at her son. "I saw Abena enter the passcode during the rehearsal. I only wanted to delay the ceremony." "You told me she had ended our relationship." "I needed you to reconsider." "You cancelled her car?" "I told the concierge the bridal collection time had changed." "And the dress?" "I asked Lydia to collect it from the suite. I believe Serwaa would need something suitable when we made the announcement." Serwaa stared at her. "You prepared my replacement dress before you knew whether Kofi would return." Mrs. Asare's voice broke. "The hotel is carrying debts we cannot repay. If Mr. Mensah withdrew his investment, your father's legacy would disappear." Kofi's expression hardened. "So you attempted to trade my marriage for financing?" "I was protecting everything your father built." "You nearly destroyed everything he valued." She began to cry. "I was frightened." "So you frightened everyone else," Nanaya said. "Fear explains poor decisions. It does not make them respectable." Mrs. Asare looked at me. "I am sorry." The apology arrived surrounded by explanations, the hotel, the employees, and her late husband's memory. "I accept that you have spoken," I said. "Trust will require more than words." Kofi faced the guests. "The ceremony will not continue until Abena decides whether she still wants it." That was the first time all day anyone had placed the choice where it belonged. I walked onto the terrace alone. The sky above Accra had turned charcoal grey. Wind moved through the palms, and the first drops of rain struck the stone floor. Kofi joined me but remained several steps away. "You do not have to marry me today," he said. "What happens if I do?" We begin counseling immediately. My mother steps away from the hotel's finances. An independent advisor takes control of the restructuring. No business agreement will involve our marriage, and no family decision will be made around you. And if I do not, I will still do all of that, because it should have happened before today. That answer reached me more deeply than another declaration of love. I studied the man before me. Kofi had failed me that morning, but he had not planned the betrayal. He had gone to find me because he could not accept losing me through a message. More importantly, he was finally willing to recognize the cost of his silence. "I still want to marry you," I said. His eyes closed briefly. "But I am not pretending today did not happen. I would never ask you to. We rebuild trust through work, not promises." "Yes, and your mother sits at the back." Despite myself, I laughed. "She may prefer another hotel." Before we could return inside, thunder rolled across the sky. The ballroom lights went out. For 2 seconds, darkness covered the venue. Then Aunt Mansa shouted, "Nobody move! I removed my shoes, and I will not lose those as well." Telephone lights appeared across the room. The hotel's backup generator refused to start. One side of the flower arch had collapsed, and the wedding cake leaned slightly to the left, as though it had also experienced an emotional breakdown. I began laughing. Kofi joined me. Soon Na was laughing, then Kwame, then the wedding planner who had been close to tears for 3 hours. We moved the ceremony onto the covered terrace. Staff brought lanterns from the hotel restaurant. Guests held up their telephones, creating hundreds of tiny lights around us. Rain fell beyond the terrace while the choir sang without microphones. Nana Ya placed her late husband's kente cloth across our joined hands. Serwaa sat beside her father wearing blue. When our eyes met, she gave me a small, apologetic smile. Mrs. Asare sat in the back row. Kofi and I exchanged vows in a ceremony smaller, darker, and far less perfect than the one we had planned. It was also honest. The generator returned halfway through Nanaya's reception speech, causing the speakers to burst into music. She continued talking until the DJ attempted to raise the volume. Nanaya pointed her walking stick towards him. "Young man, even electricity waited for me. You can do the same." The music stopped. Na danced barefoot because her missing shoe was never found. Aunt Mansa restarted her live stream and accidentally selected a filter that gave every family elder pink cheeks, sparkling crowns, and enormous eyelashes. The flower girl approached Serwaa and asked, "Can I keep the spare bride dress for my dolls?" Serwaa laughed so hard that tears rolled down her face. My mother embraced me during the dancing. "Are you happy?" she asked. "I am exhausted." That was not my question. Across the terrace, Kofi danced with Nanaya beneath the lanterns. His tie was gone, his shirt sleeves were rolled up, and for the first time all day, he looked free. "Yes," I said, "I am happy." The months after the wedding required more courage than the ceremony. Kofi and I attended counseling. He learned that avoiding conflict was still a choice, and that the person expected to remain patient usually paid the price. Mrs. Asare stepped away from the hotel's financial management. An independent restructuring advisor negotiated new repayment terms, reduced unnecessary costs, and sold an unused property owned by the business. Mr. Mensah eventually invested, but only after reviewing audited accounts and signing a transparent commercial agreement. The arrangement contained no discussion of marriage, children, or family loyalty. Serwaa returned to London. 3 months later, a large package arrived at my office. Inside was an emerald reception dress, similar to the one she had worn, but made in my exact size. Her note read, "This one has never been worn down the wrong aisle." I laughed until my colleagues came to check on me. Mrs. Asare apologized again 6 months later. This time she did not mention the hotel, her fear, or her husband's legacy. "I treated you as an obstacle," she said. "I used your relationship with my son to solve a problem that had nothing to do with you. I humiliated you, manipulated Kofi, and deceived Serwaa. I was wrong. I did not forget, but I allowed a cautious relationship to begin." 1 year after the wedding, Kofi arranged dinner on the same terrace where we had exchanged our vows. Rain began halfway through the meal. He looked towards the sky. "I promise I did not organize this. After our wedding, I would not put anything beyond your family." He laughed and placed a small box on the table. Inside was my repaired telephone. The cracked screen had been replaced, and beneath it, he had framed a draft message I had written on the morning of our wedding, but never sent. "Today, I marry the man who always wants to hear the ending of my stories." Tears filled my eyes. Our first year had not been perfect. We had argued, apologized, attended counseling, and learned that marriage did not transform two people into mind readers. But we had also learned that honesty was more valuable than appearances, and that peace created through silence was only delayed conflict. My wedding taught me that joy does not always arrive in a flawless dress beneath perfect flowers. Sometimes, joy arrives in a bakery van with one false eyelash, a torn bridesmaid dress, and a best friend holding a shoe. Sometimes, it stands beneath a leaking terrace while your family holds telephone lights above their heads. And sometimes, the happiest beginning comes after everyone has finally stopped performing perfection and chosen to tell the truth. What would you have done if another woman appeared in your wedding dress? Share your thoughts below and subscribe for more stories from beneath the Baobab.